Welcome back with a smiling face. Links to previous episodes are given in the video description, so don't forget to like, subscribe and share the video. Moonbound Silence. Episode 14. Chapter 70-77. Leila's POV. I heard that Jasper was coming back today, so I decided to get myself ready for when he announced that I would be his new chosen mate and Luna of the pack. I figured a nice flowing white dress, some loose curls, and natural makeup would do the trick. When I finished getting ready, I made my way to the castle and saw that a company car was already out in front. I wanted to get there as soon as possible, so I put some pep in my step. I couldn't help the smile that formed across my face. I was finally going to take my rightful place by Jasper's side. I walked into the castle, and I immediately sensed the cold air around the place. Everyone was whispering, and their faces were all foul. I figured that they were all upset Jasper was going to finally pick me as his chosen mate and they were jealous because it wasn't them. I didn't see Jasper anywhere on the first floor, so I figured that he would be in his office or his room. I made my way up the stairs, but I could hear others coming down. Can you believe him? I heard Melody shout. A chosen mate? A chosen Luna? I know. I heard Milan. Who gives a flying if he doesn't remember Saren? I'm not going to refer that girl as Luna. I'd rather cut my own tongue out. You guys, this is Jasper's decision, and you heard him, he doesn't have a choice, I heard the beta say. I came face to face with everyone, and all they did was give me dirty looks and walked past me. I watched as they all descended to the first floor, and I just smirked. Hearing their ching only further gave me the confidence that Jasper was going to choose me. I made my way to his room and decided to wait for him. I was getting all giddy inside and couldn't wait to finally be with him. It's been almost 2 years since Jasper and I made love that first time, and I still remember it like it was yesterday. Jasper took my virginity, but even I knew he was the best man out there. Jasper could pop my cherry a million times over. And it would be pure bliss. I heard the door to his office open, and I saw him coming down the hall. I smiled, but it immediately faltered when I saw a girl with him, holding a baby. Leila, what are you doing here? Jasper asked me. I saw that his arm was around this girl, and his hand on her HP. Jasper, I heard you came home finally, and I wanted to come to greet you, I said, looking at the girl first then finally looking at him. Who is this? Jasper pinched the bridge of his nose and let out a deep sigh. I was going to make a formal announcement at the end of the week, but since you're here, I might as well tell you. Tell me what? Leila, this is Megan. She and I had a one-night stand a week before Saren left the pack, and she ended up pregnant. What? I couldn't hide the disgust in my voice. The girl looked down and held her baby close to her. I took one look at the baby, and he looked just like Jasper. This couldn't be happening. Jasper had a baby with another woman outside of the pack. Megan gave birth to my heir, the future alpha of this pack. Our laws mandate me to take her as my mate, and Luna. What? I screamed at the top of my lungs, waking Megan's baby. Tink, go inside, I'll be right there. He opened the bedroom door for her, and he just let her go in. The room that was supposed to mine. When the door closed, I immediately shot Jasper a death glare. Jasper, what? Leila, keep your voice down. No. I will not keep my voice down. I was so pissed off. How could you, Jasper? What is up with you bringing in mutts off the street and making them your Luna? First Saren. Now her. I screamed, pointing at the bedroom door. You better watch what you say about her, Leila. She is the mother of my son and you will show her respect. No, I won't. I've done everything for you, Jasper. Do you know what I had to go through to get you to love me? Do you realize the lengths I've gone to just to get to you see me as more than some easy? Why won't you love me? I screamed and started to hit him. I cried so hard, but it wasn't from sadness, it was from pure rage. Jasper grabbed my arms and pushed me back so hard I fell to the ground. Leila, you can either get over yourself, and show respect to Megan, your future Luna, or you can leave the pack. The choice is yours, but I will not stand by and watch you blatantly show my mate disrespect. If you even as so much as touch one hair on her head, or my son's, I will banish you. I looked at him from the ground crying furiously. I was shaking, I was so outraged. Do you love her? I asked him. Honestly, no, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to try and make this work with her. We have a child together, and I'm going to do the right thing and be there for her and my son. You're a hypocrite, Jasper. You told Keaton that he didn't have to be with Tareen just because he got her pregnant, yet here you are doing the exact opposite. Keaton's case was different because 1, his dad was making him. I'm choosing to be with Megan because unlike you, I actually had sex with her because I was attracted to her. 2, Tareen's son doesn't even belong to him, but Megan's son does in fact belong to me. How do you know she's not lying the way Tareen did? Because I got a paternity test done already, and it came back positive. And unlike Tareen, Megan is the one who suggested it to prove to me she wasn't lying. Jasper went into his room without even sparing me a second thought, and I heard the door lock. Ah! I kicked the floor, slammed my fists, pulled my hair, and screamed. I knew I was making a scene, but I didn't care. Everything I did was for nothing. I got rid of the blonde hair bimbo, and now I have to deal with this fat piece of lard. I was officially broke, and my soul now belonged to that Russian hag Svetlana. I had nothing. No money, no soul, and no Jasper. You only have yourself to blame. Off Athena. I hope what you did to the Luna comes to light. I would rather die at this point and stay partnered with you. She closed off her connection to me, and I was shocked to hear what she just said. She would rather be dead than be connected with me. My own wolf was turning against me. If everyone wanted to be that way, then fine by me. I was going to teach everyone a lesson that I'm not one to be messed with. I left the castle and we straight back to my house. As soon as I was in the door, I called Emma. What do you want, Leila? Geez, what's got your panties all in a wad? I don't have time for your bullshit, we have enough SHT to deal with here. What is your problem, Emma? Blood Moon has been under investigation for a month, and it's all your fault. My fault? You're the one that suggested we kidnap humans and then turn them into rogues. You're the one who kept them hidden here. We've had 3 investigators come back to back. Everyone is on lockdown. What? Are you telling me those leftover humans are still alive? Yes. And if the investigators find the bunker, I'm placing all of the blame on you. My dad is already on death row because of his SHT with Iron Hollow and turning that cunt Saren into our slave, and now everyone is being interrogated. I will be Ed if I die because of your crazy. She immediately hung up on me. I tried to call her back, but it went straight to voicemail. Ugh! I screamed and threw my phone. Even those imbeciles at Blood Moon couldn't do anything right. I needed a way to get rid of that hussy Megan and her dirty spawn of the street. I refused to give up, not when I came so close to finally having him. Jasper's POV. After making sure that Leila was actually gone, I opened the door to check, and sure enough, she had left. I let out a sigh, closed the door, and locked it again, turning back to Saren, who had just gotten Sam back to sleep. She placed him into the bassinet I had my mom set up in secret in the commons area of our room. Jasper, when did you have the commons area changed into a nursery? She asked as she turned around to face me. About a week ago? My mom and Mel did it together. Given that Mel just had a pup, I knew she would know what I needed. We could have just brought everything from the condo. You didn't have to buy everything again, she said, hugging me. Now, we can leave everything at the condo, that way, when we go visit William and Olivia, Sam will have room to play and sleep. I'm sure they will want to babysit for us on occasion too, she smiled and got on her tippy toes. I leaned in at the same time and we sscd. What's wrong? I'm still not used to sing Megan, she giggled and pulled away. Hold on, where are you going? You just said. I said I wasn't used to it, I didn't say I didn't like it. I wiggled my eyebrows, making her laugh, and I sscd her again. Even though I was sing Megan, my heart and blade knew that it was Saren I was sing, so it didn't bother us one bit. What was crazy was that even when she was disguised as Megan, I could still feel the sparks between us. Saren pulled away and looked up at me with her green eyes. This I definitely was not used to. I missed her chocolate eyes. Jasper. Yes, Tink. Are you going to let me mark you again? I was taken aback by her question. I had totally forgotten I wasn't marked anymore. I don't know, I answered and saw the hurt flash across her eyes. Oh no, I don't mean it like that, baby. I mean, I don't know how that works. You're technically Megan and not Saren. But my soul is still Saren, and my wolf is still Callie. I'm going to have to ask my dad about that one, 'cause I honestly don't know if you marking me as Megan would mess up anything. Maybe we can get Olivia to lift the cloak so I can mark you, she said in the form of a question rather than a statement. Let me talk to my dad first, and I will let you know, dearest, she nodded her head. She let out a yawn, and I knew it was time for her to take a nap. Saren hadn't been getting a lot of sleep, well then again, neither have I ever since Sam was born. I'm sleepy. Same, I said and rested my forehead on her shoulder. Jasper, I need to pump before I sleep. There should be one somewhere in the nursery. She goes over and looks around, and finds it. I made sure to get the same one she used at the condo. She found baggies and towels and I could see that she was happy she had everything she needed. I watched from the bed as she did her business. I always thought it was crazy that women basically made food with their bodies. I mean, seriously, food for babies comes out of a woman's wrists. She pumped for a good 25 to 30 minutes before she sealed all of the bags and cleaned the pump with the towel. Jasper, will you wash this for me with hot water and soap? Of course, she handed me the components to the pump that needed to be cleaned, while she put everything away. Oh wow! There's even a mini freezer in here. I heard her exclaim as I was washing in the bathroom with the hottest water possible without burning my hands. Yeah. Mel said it would come in handy. I shouted from the bathroom. When I was done cleaning, I made sure to lay everything out on a clean towel to air dry and went back out to her. I'm so glad Melody had her pup before I had mine. She definitely knows more, and Olivia obviously too. Well, Mel read a lot of self-help pregnancy books, I told her, and she made an O shape with her mouth. You feel better? She nodded her head and yawned again. All right, let's take a nap before dinner. Yes, that sounds lovely, she said and slipped off her clothes. Dearest, are you sure you had a baby 2 weeks ago? Because I swear, even as Megan. No stretch marks. Olivia was always making me put lotion and coconut oil on my belly, and of course she made me walk a lot for as long as I could up until Dr. Andrews put me on bed rest, she answered while lying down and getting under the covers. Oh my god, I've missed our bed, she M0ANED. I smiled at her and quickly disposed of my clothes, leaving only my boxers on. I got under the covers and snuggled close to her. Even though you're Megan right now, just knowing that I have you back in my arms and in our bed makes my life so complete, Saren. I know what you mean, I've missed this. Don't ever leave me again, dearest. Never again, she said in the softest voice. I love you, Jasper. I love you, Saren. I turned off the lights and we instantly fell asleep. Chapter 71. Author's note: from this moment forward, Saren will now be known as Megan. Megan's POV. I've been home a total of 4 days now, and things are rough. Melody and the other girls don't talk to me out in the open and are actually quite mean to me. Pack members either give me dirty looks or don't pay any attention to me, and for them, it's real. They don't know me, and I know that they're pack members that got along with me when I was Saren, so I don't blame them for not liking me as Megan. Grace has opened up enough to actually want to care for Sam, but I know behind closed doors, she's head over heels in love with him. That notion doesn't seem to affect pack members since Sam is Jasper's son, so her being open to taking care of him from time to time actually isn't all that alarming. Ronan is definitely the more open-minded type, as he's actually tried having conversations with me in front of other pack members. His having once been an alpha, it only makes sense that he's calmer and more collective about the situation. Jasper has finally stopped calling me Saren, even behind closed doors, and it wasn't by choice. I had to practically force him because he almost slipped the other night at dinner, but luckily he caught himself, and no one other those who actually know what's going on was around. Also, just like Jasper predicted, Leila and I had a few words. She's already threatened me and told me I'm not good enough for Jasper, and she even went as far as to insult Sam. That actually made my eyebrow twitch. I guess it's true what they say, mothers are the stronger creatures on this planet. I slapped Leila across the face for what she said about our son, and I made sure to let her know that unlike her, I didn't have to beg Jasper to sleep with me or wait until he was drunk to get him in bed. I told her that he came to me first and that I had even said no in the beginning, but he kept pursuing me. That alone made her pissed off enough to scream at the top of her lungs, which got the attention of a few other pack members. Because she drew attention to us, she couldn't do what she wanted, which was hit me back. Even though pack members don't like me, or even borderline hate me, they're not stupid enough to defy Jasper. He made sure that everyone knew who I was. And that it didn't matter whether they liked me or not. They had to respect me, which in turn means if something happens to me, and they witness it but turn a blind eye, they too will get in a lot of trouble, which no one wants, especially, not after what happened with Andrea. When I found out what happened to her and Sierra, my jaw practically hit the floor. Today was another day where no one would talk to me. Grace took Sam, all of the guys were at work, or doing their pack house duties, and the girls were off doing goddess only knows what. I was practically alone in the castle, with the exception of pack members who worked in the castle. I decided to go down to the kitchen to get something to eat for lunch. I was digging through the refrigerator and decided to make myself a sandwich. As I was getting the ingredients together, someone got my attention. "What are you doing?" I turned around and saw Angelo, Owen, Hugo, and Maddox. Angelo gave me a quick wink since he knows who I really am, the others don't. "I'm just making a sandwich for lunch." Would you all like to have one as well? I asked nicely. I'll take one, thank you, Angelo replied. The others looked at him in shock. What? It's a sandwich and I'm hungry, he defended. Does anyone else want one? I asked the others. They looked at each other and then back at me. Sure, I'll take one, Maddox said nicely. We'll all take one, Owen said. I smiled and made their sandwiches. I made sure to ask them which condiments they liked and what they each wanted on their sandwiches. When I was done, I placed their meals in front of them and pulled out a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos for them, and a bag of hot Cheetos for myself. They were sitting at the dining table, and I was getting ready to eat at the kitchen island when Owen called me over. Megan, come sit with us. I was a little taken aback, but not all that surprised. Owen, being the oldest of the four, was a lot more mature and more friendly. I picked up my plate and went over to the dining room table and sat with them. So, Megan, tell us about yourself, he said to me right as I was about to take a bite of my sandwich. What would you like to know? I asked. Let's start off with the basics, Angelo said. Well, I'm 18, I'm originally from Grand Rapids, I'm an only child, and I was raised by my aunt and uncle. What happened to your parents? Hugo asked. They were killed in an accident when I was about 10, of course I kept my real age and how old I was when my parents died. It helped me keep up with the facade. Sorry to hear that, Owen replied, and I just smiled. I took a bite of my sandwich. Look, I'm just going to address the elephant in the room, Hugo said sternly. Did you get pregnant to trap our alpha? Hugo. Owen shouted at him. It's okay, you don't have to yell at him. I understand why he asked that, I said, trying to calm him down. Though I don't think what happened between Jasper and me is anyone else's business, I will tell you that I had no intention of ever getting pregnant at 18, but T happens, and I don't believe in abortion. I honestly didn't even want to tell him about the baby, but that was disrespectful to him and he deserved to know that he was going to be a father. What he did with that information was all on him. I didn't want money, I didn't want a relationship, and I sure as hell didn't expect to become his chosen mate. So, no, I did not trap your alpha with my pregnancy. I gave a father the option to be in their child's life and that's all. If you have a problem with my being here, take it up with your alpha because I never asked to be here, Hugo hung his head after my response. Hugo, the alpha has made his decision, and it's one we all have to deal with. Owen's right. We all feel the same way, but it's been months, and it's time we all moved on. T happens like Megan said. That's out of our control. What we choose to do with that information is on us as individuals, just like the alpha chose to be with Megan and their son, the future alpha, Angelo said. I think you owe her an apology, Owen said to Hugo. I'm sorry, Megan, I didn't mean to offend you. It's just, we were all close to the previous Luna, and it's hard to see her get replaced. Hugo, I'm not here to replace anyone. I'm my own person, and she was her own person. I understand that it's hard to lose someone you care about. I lost my parents, but my aunt and uncle didn't take me in to replace them, they were there to uplift me and give me a home, and a family. I know I can't replace our previous Luna. She seemed like a good person whom everyone loved. I know I can never live up to her reputation, and I'm not going to try to. I just ask that you don't judge me for something that wasn't my choice and out of my control. Megan, I think a lot of pack members have been unfair to you because of their personal heartache from losing our previous Luna, but you're right, we shouldn't be so quick to judge you for something you had no control over. As a father of 3 kids myself, I commend you for letting the alpha know he had a pup out there, and I also respect you for coming here knowing how difficult it would be. That shows character. Thank you, Owen, I replied, and he nodded his once. I'm with Owen, Angelo said. I think we all owe you an apology for misjudging you. That's not necessary. It is, so please accept our apology, I just smiled and nodded my head. I'm sure you already know this, but my name is Angelo, that's Owen, Hugo, and Maddox, we're the head guards of the pack and trainers. It's very nice to meet you all, truly. Since you're now the Alpha's new mate and our future Luna, it is my duty to protect you and the young Alpha as your personal guard. Angelo, that's not. It is, it's actually part of my job, so please, if you ever need to go anywhere, just let me know, and I will be happy to escort you. Thank you, I appreciate that. After lunch, I cleaned up the dishes while the guys went back to their duties. Angelo ended up staying in the kitchen with me and kept me company. We had to keep up to the act because an Omega would come and go every so often. After I cleaned up everything, I dismissed Angelo and went to go find Grace to get my son back. Since I had eaten, it was time for his feeding. Thankfully, I found her in the nursery with girls. Grace, may I please have Sam back, it's time for his feeding, I said nicely since there were a couple of nannies in the nursery. Sure, Grace said and handed him over. You know, I have to admit, he's cute, Melody said. Thank you, I replied with a smile. Look Megan, you're obviously not going anywhere, and you're also a mom like Mel and me, so, if you're ever lonely with Sam, you can always come here to our nursery to have mommy time with us, Michelle said with a little hesitation in her voice. Michelle, what? Melody said shocked. Mel, she's right, it really isn't her fault that she's here. Jasper didn't give her a choice, Milan said trying to be mean yet nice at the same time. Whatever, Melody said and looked Leanne out of the nursery. Grace following after her. Don't take it personally. Mel and Saren were really close, I mean, Saren was technically her sister-in-law, Milan said. It's okay, I understand. It's like told the guards a little while ago, I'm not here to step on anyone's toes, or try to replace your previous Luna, I know I never can. I'm just asking not to be judged for something I had no control over. We understand. Melody just takes longer to get over stuff, but she will warm up soon, Michelle answered while patting my shoulder. I smiled and left the nursery going back up to our room so I could feed Sam and put him down for a nap. When I got there, I made sure to lock the door behind me. As soon as sat down in the rocking chair to feed Sam, I got a text. Melody, I'm sorry, I know that was a little harsh. You know it's all an act, right? Me, of course I do. I hear your thoughts, and I know you hate doing it. Melody, everyone knows I hold grudges for a while, so just hang a little more. We'll get back to the way things were between us soon. Me, don't worry about it. I'm not taking it personally or seriously. I'm kind of glad to know that if Jasper ever did bring a stranger to replace me, you guys would always have my back. Melody, always and forever sister. Me, I need to feed Sam. Talk to you later. I put the phone down, and lifted my arm out of my shirt. Sam immediately latched on, and I just leaned back and relaxed. When I felt Sam detach on his own, I lifted him up and burped him before placing him in the bassinet. He had a full tummy and was officially in a milk coma. I smiled down at him and went over to the bed to get a nap in before Jasper came home. Jasper's POV. I was at the office today and I honestly hated it. It was only my second day back after bringing Saren home, but I hated having to be here. So much work was put off because I was unavailable while I was on my trip, so I had a lot of papers to go through, a lot of contracts to sign, and a lot of meetings to get through. After my 5th meeting for today, I finally had a break and eating a very late lunch in my office when Adriana paged me. "What is it?" "Mr. Valencia, there is a Richard Griffin here to see you." "Let him in." I stood up from my desk and the door opened, revealing Alpha Richard of the Gold Moon Pack. We shook hands and waited for the door to close. Adriana was human, so we couldn't address each other until she was out of earshot. "Alpha Jasper, it's been a while." "Alpha Richard, what are you doing here?" I asked him and guided him to my guest's chair. "I'm here to discuss the finding at Blood Moon." This immediately piqued my interest. "As you know, Eric was found guilty of the premeditated murder of Alpha Gideon, as well as the unlawful killing of his pack, on top of turning Ryan into a slave." I nodded my head. "Well, taking into account what your pack had reported about human kidnappings, the Elders investigators didn't find any humans at Blood Moon." "What?" "But my source said that." "Hold on, I'm not finished," he said, stopping me. I sat back and waited for him to continue. "Although they didn't find any humans, they did however find traces of humans around the territory." "Traces?" "Yes, human scents, DNA, and some human remains." "What?" "As far as I have been told, they are holding humans hostage somewhere within their territory, and they tried to look for the bunker your source informed you about, however, they couldn't find it. As of right now, Blood Moon is being watched with a magnifying glass. We need to find the remaining humans, Richard, they deserve justice." "Indeed they do, but right now, our biggest concern is exposure. There's a possibility these remaining human victims know of our existence." He gave me a look of concern and contemplation. "Wait, are you insinuating that they won't be set free even if they are found?" "I don't know, to be quite honest. Based on what you've told me, there have over 100 human kidnappings across the country and only one survivor. He alone is already a risk, but since you're keeping him contained at Blue Lake, the Elders are not worried, yet." "I'm not containing him. He's being given sanctuary within my pack. He's more than able to leave if he wants to. I gave him a choice and he chose to stay until this is all over." "Alpha Jasper, the Elders may not allow him to leave your pack grounds because of the fear of exposure." "Alpha Richard, you can't possibly be suggesting that the Elders want me to kill him, are you?" He just lowered his head without saying anything. "This is ridiculous. We don't kill humans without cause. These humans aren't hunters, they're victims, and they're practically all kids. I understand where you're coming from, I really do, but the exposure risk is too great with that many survivors. Honestly, it makes me sick to my stomach these kids may have to lose their lives after all this because of Blood Moon. There has to be an alternative solution." "I'm sure there is, and we will need to come up with one before the Elders rain fire on Blood Moon." I nodded my head. "That's not the only thing I wanted to talk about. I heard what happened between you and Ryan, are you okay?" "It's Saren," she hated the name Ryan, but honestly, not really. "But, I have to move on. She left me, and I don't know where she is." "What happened?" I gave Richard the play-by-play, about what happened to me, why it happened, who was behind it, and the overall outcome of it all. Richard was completely appalled at what I had just told him. I even went so far as to tell him that I slept with another woman and got her pregnant. Getting another alpha to buy into our act would really sell this. "Wait, you what?" You got another she-wolf pregnant, that wasn't your mate, while you still had a mate, but didn't know was your mate. Pretty much. But because your bond with Saren was broken due to the dark magic, she didn't know. I honestly don't know if Saren knew or not, I didn't really pay much attention to her. I'm disgusted with myself, believe me, but what's done is done. Megan is going to be my new chosen mate. The irony of all this is astounding. The fact that your new chosen mate has the same name as Saren's late mother. Yeah, no kidding. Jasper, can I give you some advice, alpha to alpha? Please. Don't blame yourself for what happened between you and Saren. It wasn't your fault, and it wasn't hers either. What happened to the two of you is the fault of someone who doesn't respect the mate bond and wanted to fulfill their own greed. If you do see Saren again, my suggestion is that you make amends, but let her go. You have Megan now, and you share a son together. I know you loved your first mate, hell, that's why the investigation into Eric started in the first place, but everything happens for a reason. You and Megan share a bond because you share a child. Don't be like Eric and get caught up on your first love, because in the end, you're going to hurt Megan, and she's innocent in all of this. I just nodded to everything he said. Saren is gone, my friend, and I hope that she is happy and healthy wherever she is. Thank you, Richard, I'll take what you said to heart and really think about it. Tell me, do you have feelings for Megan? Something that's more than platonic. I do, we both do. Then go with the flow, see where it leads you. I nodded my head and gave him a smile. Richard and I shook hands before he left, and he promised to keep me apprised of the Blood Moon investigation. I really took what he said to heart. Knowing that Megan was Saren in disguise and that Saren and I already made amends. Could I really live the rest of my life with Megan? Chapter 72 Leila's POV. It's been 2 weeks since Jasper brought back Megan, and little by little, the pack is starting to fall her. She's just like that dumb blonde Saren. Always friendly, always respectful, and always a goody two-shoes. Jasper has even pet, Tionied with the elders make her the acting Luna of the pack. I couldn't believe what was happening. What pissed me off, even more, was that this asterisk had a spine. I've tried to scare her into submission, but she fights right back. I even tried to tell her all the things I've done with Jasper, but she didn't fall for any of it. Then she had the nerve to tell me that Jasper pursued her first and that he wanted to sleep with her without protection. Jasper would never do that. He was too careful and too meticulous about SHT like that. That's how I knew something was up with this chick. And I wasn't going to rest until I found what it was. I was walking along the lake because I needed to clear my head when I saw Jasper and Megan walking along the other side of it. I watched as he was smiling and laughing with her. The only other person he laughed like that with was Saren. He pulled her into UGNK, SSCD the top of her head and she nuzzled her face into his C.Hest. When they pulled away, he looked at her in a way I never thought would happen, he had love in his eyes. It's only been 2 weeks, and he was starting to fall in love with her. He was opening his heart to her. He barely knows her, she barely knows him. She was a one-night stand that he knocked up, but now he's falling in love with her. This couldn't be right, something was off. Something was wrong. There was no way in hell Jasper would fall in love with someone that was just a desperate booty call. Wow! You're one to talk. What do you want now, Athena? You just said it yourself, Jasper would never fall in love with someone who was a desperate booty call. Okay? Why are you repeating what I just said? You're so stupid. Do you not realize that's exactly what you are to him? You were nothing but a desperate booty call. Athena practically laughed at me and retreated to the back of my mind. I looked back at Jasper and Megan, and they were full on making out by this point. If that's all I was to Jasper, then fine by me, but I will be if gets to have him when I can't. We're the same, we're both nothing but desperate booty calls to Jasper, so why should she get to have him when I can't? If I couldn't have Jasper, then no one could. Smile all you want, Megan, because it's not going to last long. I'm going to KLLU if it's the last thing I do. Megan's POV. Jasper and I were enjoying a walk along the lake when I SP0TTED Leila across the way. Jasper did too, and we decided to put on a little show, but not really. Jasper and I started to laugh all randomly, not even having said anything remotely funny. Come here, he said and pulled me into a big H.UG. He KSSCD the top of my head, and I just nuzzled into his C.Hest. I loved being in his arms. Even if this was for show, the love I felt from Jasper was so real. We stood there H.Ugging for a minute before he pulled away. Jasper looked down at me, and when our eyes met, he looked at me with so much love and passion that I felt heart beating so fast it almost felt still. The fact that he could look at me this way even though I was Megan made me realize that Jasper didn't love me for the way I looked. He loved me for I was in my heart. Megan. Yet. I love you. I love you too, Jasper, he leaned in and gave me the most passionate KSS. I wrapped my arms around his neck and got on my tippy toes. We KSSCD with so much love, passion, and desire. Our tongues wrestled and we tasted each other all over. I almost forgot how wonderful Jasper tasted. Callie was purring and prancing with so much delight, I could see the hearts in her eyes. When we finally pulled apart, I heard Leila's voice in my head. Smile all you want, Megan, because it's not going to last long. I'm going to KLLU if it's the last thing I do. Well, I never expected to hear that, I say out loud. What's the matter, Tink? Leila wants to KLL me. What? Yeah, she just said it out loud, but I heard it clear as day. She said that my happiness won't last long because she's going to KLL me if it's the last thing she does, I repeat to Jasper. His eyes turn black, and his grip around me tightens. She wastes no time, does she? He said, gritting his teeth. I rubbed his arms and he immediately calmed down. I mean, in a way, this is a good thing, isn't it? The faster she does something, the faster we can get rid of her, and the faster I can be myself again. When I said that, Jasper's expression softened, and his eyes looked at me with conflict. Jasper, what's wrong? Tink, we need to talk, I nodded my head. He took my hand, he led me back to the castle. The walk took a few minutes, but when we got there, he took me to our room where he proceeded to lock the door. He sat me down on the bed and he had the most serious look on his face. Jasper, what's the matter? You look worried about something. Dearest, I need you to listen, and I'm going to talk to you as if I'm talking to you as Saren, okay? I nodded my head. Saren, I spoke with Alpha Richard a little over a week ago, and he said something that I've been really thinking about. I just looked at him and waited for him to continue. I told him what happened, and I told him that you rejected me and left the pack. I also told him the same lie we're telling everyone else, that I had an affair with Megan, that led to Sam. I thought he was going to berate me, but he told me that I shouldn't blame myself and that the only person to blame is Leila. Well, he's right on that one. He is, but that's not what has me thinking. He said that if you and I were to ever meet again, that we should make amends, but we should go our separate ways. What? He told me that I should concentrate on building my relationship with Megan, and fully taking her as my mate, and letting you go. That, what we had is no longer there and that I have a chance to build a life with Megan and Sam. Wait, are you saying that you don't want me to come back as Saren, but stay Megan, forever? Do you love Megan more than me? Dearest, that's not it at all. I love you both the same because you're one and the same. Yes, you look like Megan, but your soul is still Saren. Blade loves you just the same because Callie is still a part of you. Jasper, even if I stay as Megan, Callie's coloring will give away who I am. Are you sure about that? He asked me. Dearest, when was the last time you shifted into Callie? Since before I got pregnant. Baby, how do you know your wolf isn't disguised as well? I just looked at him and blinked. He actually had a good point. Shift right now. Here. Callie is small enough, she'll be fine, plus, I miss her too. I shrugged my shoulders and pped out of my clothes. Are you ready, Callie? Yes. I can't wait to see if our mate's theory is true. Plus, I've been dying to be let out. By all means, then, take over. I could almost see her smile when I gave her control. It had been months since I last shifted, and it actually hurt a bit, but not like the very first time. The shift didn't take long, and I could tell that Callie had her eyes closed. She stretched her legs, and shook her fur. Whoa, Jasper said. I wish I could speak to him, but we're not linked anymore. I was right, Callie is cloaked too. Callie perked her ears up, and walked over to the vanity where the big mirror was. What we saw looking back at us surprised us both. Callie. You're not pink anymore. Our mate was right. This is new, but awesome at the same time. I think I can get used to this. Jasper came up to her and looked at her through the mirror as well. All three of us were in awe of her Callie's new look. I thought you were beautiful as a pink wolf, but seeing you as a baby blue wolf is just as beautiful and unique, and your eyes, those silver eyes are SC*XY, Callie nudged Jasper for his compliment. Hold on Tink, Blade wants to say hi. Jasper pped out of his clothes and shifted into Blade. Thank God our room was big enough to hold both of our wolves. When Blade saw Callie's new looks, he practically started drooling. Unfortunately, they couldn't communicate either, but they didn't need words. They still loved each other wholeheartedly. Callie rubbed up against him and buried her face into his black fur. They were both whimpering with happiness and I felt a tear leave Callie's eye. Callie, why are you crying? I just missed Blade so much. Even though I look different as well, he loves me as much as Jasper loves you. Saren, or should I say, Megan, what if we're not meant to go back to the way we were? What if we're supposed to stay like this? Wait, are you saying that you're okay with changing? What we look like doesn't matter to Jasper or Blade. They love us for our souls, not for what we look like, you said so yourself. I thought about what Callie said as she and Blade snuggled against each other on the floor of the bedroom. Saren, I know you can hear my thoughts, so I just want to say something else to you. Keep in mind that Saren Calloway is still considered to be deceased. Saren Calloway died almost 9 years ago, but Megan Campbell is alive and well with her own identity. I love you either way and I always will. It's your soul that Blade and I are in love with, not your looks, baby. Just think about it and let me know what you decide. There's no rush and it's your life. I just want you to know that I support you in whatever decision you make because I will be happy with either one. Hearing Jasper's thoughts really made me think about this in a whole other light. He was right, I was pronounced dead to the world when I was 10. Megan, although she was created with magic, has her own identity in her own life. What if Callie was right and I was no longer supposed to live as Saren, but live as Megan? Would that be disrespectful to my parents who gave their lives to save me? I decided to put this in the back of my mind for now. There was still time to think about this, and it honestly wasn't a priority just yet. I really just wanted to enjoy my peace and quiet with Jasper, and I'm sure Callie could use the private time with Blade since they won't be able to communicate until I mark Jasper and I mark each other again. I honestly expected Blade and Callie to mate, but they didn't. They literally just slept curled up together. If I could see from the outside, it would have been cute. After their nap, Callie and Blade gave us back control, and Jasper and I decided to go down for lunch. I still had no idea where Sam was. Grace took him and hasn't given him back. She even took the baby bag and some reserved wrist milk from the freezer. I've complained to Jasper that I don't get to see our son all that much, but he says that I should just enjoy the free babysitting. Why do I feel like I gave birth for your mom? I complained to Jasper as we went down to the kitchen. Tink, just be happy she's accepted him and is taking care of him without us having to ask. You're in good company when it comes to not seeing your child. My sister and Kendrick are in the same boat as you. What about Kendrick's dad? Oh, he and my mom have to play rock paper scissors for Leanne. I couldn't help but laugh at that. What do you want for lunch? He asked. Whatever is available, I'm not picky. Mrs. Williams. Oh, hello Alpha and Miss Megan, she greeted us with a smile. Mrs. William has always been sweet to me. Even though in the beginning she was hesitant, other than Grace, she warmed up the fastest. Mrs. Williams, what's for lunch? Jasper asked her. Greek salad with fire-grilled shrimp and buttery garlic breadsticks. Oh, that sounds delicious, I said rubbing my hands together. Have a seat and I will have an omega serve you. Oh, please let me help, I said holding out my hands. Nonsense child, go sit down, she said firmly, and Jasper dragged me to the dining room. I see some things haven't really changed, I whispered to him. Nope, still the same amazing selfless Mrs. Williams, he replied. A few minutes later, a kitchen omega brought our plates over and placed a plate full of breadsticks in between us. Where's everyone else? I asked Jasper. They'll be here shortly, either that or they already ate, he said and stuffed his mouth with a big bite of salad. Jasper was still one of the messiest eaters I'd ever seen. I just shook my head and ate my food in peace. Things were starting to become normal for us finally, but I was still torn on what I wanted to do after everything was over. Everything from Tarine to Leila, Blood Moon, and more importantly, the vampire. Could I ever go back to being Saren or would staying Megan for the rest of my days be the better option? I felt the need to speak with William about it, so I decided I would call him later tonight. Chapter 73. Megan's POV. Saren, I don't understand, what do you mean you're contemplating staying Megan? It was something that Jasper brought up earlier today. He spoke with an alpha from another pack, and he had suggested Jasper let me go, let Saren go and concentrate on his life with me, Megan, and Sam. When Jasper told me that, it got me thinking, and I wanted to know your take on all of this. This is new for me, Saren. Is it though? You were born William, but you changed your life to live as Lorenzo. I would be doing the same thing. A new ident, as Megan, but I would still have the soul of Saren. Though that is true, I've been alive since before Christ was born. I lived millenniums as William before changing to Lorenzo. What about your wolf? Have you spoken to her? I did, and even she's willing to stay in her changed form. Callie isn't pink anymore, she's baby blue, and her eyes are silver now. I didn't know that it was possible for a wolf to change their coloring. Normally it's not, but you're different, child. Your wolf changing has to do with you as an individual, as a wolf, and as a primordial. Remember, you're essentially bound to be more powerful even than me. What do I do? How do I make the right choice? I can't tell what you to do. Choose, child. This is a decision between you and Jasper. He says that he loves me as Megan as much as he loves me as Saren, that my physical form isn't what he loves, it's my heart and soul. Then, it's going to be up to you, Saren. If he can love you in either form, think long and hard about which identity gives you more to live for. Okay, thank you for taking my call. You can always call or summon us, we will always be there to help you. I hung up the phone and just slouched in my chair. I was currently sitting in my office and was having a really hard time. I hadn't even realized how late it got until Jasper came in holding Sam. Tink, it's getting late, are you okay? He asked as he came in. Oh, I'm sorry, I was just on the phone with my uncle. Jasper knew what I meant by that. I see, having second thoughts. No second thoughts, just trying to decide what would be the best choice for the long haul. I'm starting to fall for you, Jasper, and things seem to be looking up, so I don't have any plans on leaving, that is unless you do to me what you did your other mate. I told you, that SHT is in the past, and I won't make the same mistake twice, especially not to the mother of my child. I smiled at him. Even though our conversations were cryptic and coded, we knew what we were saying to each other. Come on, it's late, and we need to go bed. I nodded my head and we left my office and went to bed. Ash's POV. What do you mean he has a mistress? I shouted at Leila, who was standing in my office fuming. She came after Jasper had left for almost a month because he wanted to get over Saren. When he came back with a mistress who had his baby. Then where is Saren? How should I know? It's not my fault she didn't come back here. I just love how this plan of yours just backfired on all of us, my sister retorted with her arms and legs crossed sitting on the couch. First we get investigated, my dad is in prison, we're now being watched by the Elders' Council, you lose Jasper for a second time, he has new Luna, and Saren has fallen off the face of the planet. Way to go, Leila, she says while clapping in a sarcastic manner. You Emma, had you guys not pulled out of the contract we had with the Dark Witch, this never would have happened. We pulled out because we lost both times we attacked them. You underestimated the power of your own pack, and we only sent a dozen, all of which were KLLED. Then the second time, we tripled the number, and almost all of them were KLLED again. The fact that artificial rogue wolves who were supposed to be unstoppable were still being KLLED, and that a few of them even had the decency to come back out of fear is why we pulled out. Now, we're stuck with a bunker full of rotting humans that we had to keep alive only because we have no idea what to do with them. And it's all your fault. Emma screamed at Leila. It's not my fault that you guys don't know how to kill humans. They should have all been dead within a day. You're the ones that waited too long. Unlike you, we think with our brains. I shouted at her. Killing 4 dozen humans at once would have been a disaster, and the Elders' Council will have known immediately what happened. You can't just throw out human corpses as you would garbage. You could just burn the bodies. They were already pronounced dead by human authorities. A fire that large would have gained too much unwanted attention, you dumb. Emma growled at her. No wonder Jasper doesn't want you. You're stupider than a sack of rotten potatoes. You would never make a good leader. You're too driven by your emotions. You would drive Blue Lake into the ground. You Emma. I don't see you with a mate either. Enough. I boomed in my alpha voice. Leila, we're done with you. I never should have trusted you. I should just have gone to get Saren back. Myself, but I also let my emotions get the best of me, and I sided with you and your idiotic plans. Leave my territory and never come back. You are official an enemy of Blood Moon. If your face is ever seen, here again, my guards will kill you on sight. You're going to be sorry, Ash, she screamed and stormed out of my office. I mind-linked several of the guards to make sure she left without causing a scene. I rubbed my temples and gr0aned in pure frustration. We need to get rid of those humans, Emma said. I know that, Emma, but we can't just go kill them and get rid of their bodies, especially not with the elders watching. Why don't we just turn them then? What? Let's turn the humans. If they die during the transformation, then they die. If they survive, then you make them a pack member. No human murders, they'll be part of the supernatural world and won't be able to go back to their families, and the elders will have nothing against us. You're forgetting that they're human. They'll have their memories. What's to stop them from reporting us to the elders? Threaten their loved ones, I hated to admit it, but Emma's idea wasn't that far-fetched. Do it. Take 2 of the guards and turn the remaining humans in the bunker. If they die, burn the bodies. If they survive, give them the ultimatum, join the pack and live freely, or get banished and we kill their loved ones. She smirked and left my office. I leaned back and just tried to figure out a way out of this investigation. Even though the investigators were gone, I know for the fact that the elders aren't going to back down. Especially not after what my dad did and the whole Saren having been a slave here for 8 years. Thinking about her made my heart ache. I really missed her, and Kano still refuses to talk to me. As I was deep in thought, I felt the presence of an unknown person in my office. I opened my eyes. Who are you? Good evening, my name is Alessandro. How did you get into my office? I shimmered, it's what vampires do. Vampire. I hated vampires and I was this close to shifting, but he stopped me. I'm not here for you, I'm here for the primordial. The what? Another wolf who doesn't know anything, he muttered. Tell me, this is the Blood Moon Pack, is it not? It is. Well then, at least I have the right pack. Tell me, are you the one responsible for the slaughter of a pack called Iron Hollow? No, my father was. I see, can you tell where I may find him? He's gone, he's been arrested. Well. What do you want? And why are you asking about Iron Hollow? I've done some research, and it appears that the Iron Hollow Alpha and Luna gave birth to a primordial, which is a rare and powerful wolf. Rumor has it that he died after your father attacked their pack. She. Excuse me. She, I repeated. The Alpha's heir was a girl. What? But I heard the name of the heir was Ryan. It is Ryan, well, it's actually Saren Calloway, but she goes by Saren. Goes by? Are you saying she is alive? Yet. Where can I find her? I have no idea. She used to live here, that is until she found her mate, and left with him. Where did she go? The Blue Lake Pack outside of Detroit, but she's not there anymore. What do you mean? She's gone, one of their pack members inged with their alpha's memories using the help of a dark witch. Saren rejected her mate and left her pack, no one has seen her since. A dark witch? Do you know this witch's name? Svetlana. The moment I said the name, his eyes turned red, and his fangs came out. I thought he was going to attack me, but instead, he vanished in a puff of black smoke. Why was a vampire looking for Saren, and what is a primordial? Alessandro's POV. That conniving witch. She's been lying to me. She knew where the primordial was this whole time and she never once told me. I'll teach her a lesson. I shimmered straight her sanctuary. Svetlana. I hissed as I arrived. Hell! What do you want, Alessandro? I grabbed her by the neck and lifted her in the air. You lied to me. You know who the female primordial is. Where is she? I told you there has not been one reported being born. Were you aware the last wolf born to 2 alphas was a female? What? But the name? Apparently she goes by the name Saren instead of Ryan. Alessandro, I had no idea. I swear. I dropped her. Where is she? I don't know. The Blood Moon Alpha told me you helped a Blue Lake Pack member get rid of their Luna. What does that have? Oh, she immediately started to dig around and pulled out a photo. Who is this? I asked, looking at the photo of the beautiful blonde. That's the Luna of Blue Lake, or former Luna I should say. This is the primordial. I guess so if that's what your research is saying, but I had no idea. The pack member is obsessed with her alpha and wanted me to help her get rid of the Luna so she could have him for herself. Her obsession is almost as psychotic as yours with the female primordial. Where is she? I gritted my fangs. I do not know. She is gone, that is all I know. I do not know where and I do not care. You have her photo, so you go find her. I did not lie. I simply did not know. You would have felt her powers. Only if I had met her. I never laid eyes on her, let alone met her. So, you really don't know where she is? No, and I don't have the time, nor do I want to help you find her. I don't need your help to find her, Svetlana. Now that I know what she looks like, finding her will only be a matter of time. I gave her one hard look and gave her a full-forced backhanded slap that sent her flying across her sanctuary into her shelving. I shimmered out of her sanctuary, taking the photo of the primordial with me. It was only a matter of time before I found her. Svetlana's POV. I came out of my hiding place to find my clone dead on the floor of my sanctuary. Thankfully, Alessandro is too stupid to know the difference. I guess you did come in handy after all, I say to my clone. I clean up the mess and get rid of the body. Fortunately, making a clone doesn't require an actual soul. I love being a dark witch. I don't have to worry about personal gain, unlike that goody two-shoes Olivia. I figured that I should pay the Alpha a visit and let him know what's going on. Now that Alessandro has a photo of his mate, it will only be a matter of time before he finds her. I give him a quick call. Hello. Alpha, it's Svetlana, we need to talk. I'm in my office at home. I will be there shortly. I hang up and close up my sanctuary. I quickly teleport to the Alpha's office. That was faster than I expected, he says when he sees me. Yes, well, what I have to say is quite important. He just gave me a look. Alessandro came by again. What did he say? I explained to the Alpha everything that had occurred and how I knew that Alessandro was coming to pay me a visit. Blood Moon doesn't know it, but I have been keeping an eye on them as well. I knew that they could not be trusted, and they owe me for breaking out of their contract. Keeping an eye on them was a good move. I watched as Kale gave away our secret, that weak good-for-nothing alpha doesn't know when to shut up. I, unfortunately, didn't have a choice but to give him the photo of your mate, but as long as she stays in disguise, he can't find her, at least not for a while. Wait, did you say you created a clone and that he didn't know the difference? Alessandro may be a powerful vampire, but he can't sense magic. He is only drawn to your mate's power because she is powerful and it's something he has come to recognize. But he wouldn't know spell even if it slapped him in the face. I watched his eyes squint and he looked to be deep in thought. What are you thinking, Alpha? He gave me a smirk. Alpha, you have outdone yourself. Can you make it work? Yes, I can. I'll get you what you need, just make sure that this stays between us. You might get your revenge on him after all, I smiled at the Alpha. His plan to take down that vermin was genius, and it was something I never would have thought of. I guess siding with the werewolves was going to pay off after all. Alessandro picked the wrong witch. Unfortunately, since he now believes that I am dead, I cannot go back to my sanctuary. I will have to build a new one and under a new name and a new identity. Chapter 74. Jasper's POV. After talking about my plan with Svetlana, I knew that it was a big risk to take, but at this rate, I felt that it would be the best way to keep Saren, or in this case, Megan, and our son safe. I just hoped that I could keep this a secret from her for as long as possible. Before going to bed, I decided to keep my thoughts quiet about this until the time was right to tell her. When I got to my room, I expected to just go to bed, but when I got to our room, what was waiting for me made my heart stop. Hi, Jasper. Megan, what are you wearing? You don't like it? She asked and sat on her knees. I gulped audibly. Megan was wearing see-through lingerie and high stockings. The underwear was actually crotchless and I could see her beautiful clean-shaved from the door. Babe, I think you should close the door before someone else sees. I slammed the door and locked it behind me. She crawled to the end of the bed and got off it. She strutted towards me swaying her PS to the side. I loved Saren's body, but Megan's curves were definitely a force to be reckoned with. Dearest, what? You've been working so hard trying to keep me and Sam safe, that I've neglected you, Jasper, she said with a very seductive tone. The bulge in my pants was ridiculously painful. Oh, what's this? She asked and placed her hand on top of my hard-on. Saren. I'm not Saren, I'm Megan, and I think it's time our bodies got to know one another, don't you? I just nodded my head. She took my hand and led me over to the bed. She sat me down and bent over to become eye level with me with her hands on my GHS. I couldn't stop myself, I instantly wanted more, but she used her powers to keep my arms to my side. Tink, that's not fair. All's fair in love, she said in my ear. This is my show, Jasper, and I'm going to take advantage of you. Who are you? What have you done with Saren? I told you, I'm not Saren. I'm Megan, and I'm a little more adventurous when it comes to X, and I've also been very deprived since you got me pregnant, Jasper Valencia. She took a step back and bit her bottom lip. Arms up. I raised my arms above my head, and I felt my shirt being lifted off, but she was still 5 feet away from me. You shouldn't use your powers like this. It's okay, I've talked to William already. He said as long as I don't blast anything with full power, I'll be fine. A little telepathy to get you ached isn't even enough to garnish any attention, she replied. She dropped my shirt to the floor and simultaneously ripped the zipper on my jeans. Was all I could say to that. She just smirked. Stand up, Jasper, I did as she said and stood to my feet. Without breaking eye contact with me, I saw her eyes rake up and down as she took me. "Mm. You taste good, Jasper," she said. Her eyes were black and were mine. I wasted no time in switching positions with her. I moved so fast she didn't even know. "Sweet mercy, you smell so delicious," I said as I inhaled her amazing scent. "Jasper, please, I want you." "Not yet, I think it's time I pleasure you now, my beautiful, Tink." I didn't need to tease her. Everything about Megan was sarin. That's why I had no problem being with Megan, because she's just a body and a name. Everything about her is 100% sarin. "Jasper, please, I need you," she begged. I stood up, and I pulled her up to sit. "I want you to ride me," I tell her. I lay back down on the bed. "Jasper, we've never done it in this position before. Trust me, you're going to love it as much as I am," I tell her. "Slowly, lower yourself on top of me while holding it steady," I direct her. This was another new position for us. "Oh my God! This is amazing, Jasper," she shouted. "More! Please more," she begged. "It's a good thing. It's very a good thing, and now I'm going to make you do it again." This was something we did before, and I knew she loved it too. "Oh, yes, so deep. So amazing." I went back into the bathroom and filled the tub with hot water and some bath salts. Even though it was late, I wanted her to feel relaxed before we called it a night. That, and I needed to replace the sheets on the bed. I was covered in both of our juices and our sweat. When the tub was filled, I turned off the water and went to get Megan. I picked her bridal style, and she was in and out of consciousness. I gently placed her in the tub, and her head lolled to the side. I quickly changed the sheets on the bed along with the comforter and double-checked that our screaming, shouting, and didn't wake Sam. Luckily, he was sleeping like a log. I kissed his cheek and went to go check on Megan. She was too out like a log by that point. I let her be while I quickly showered just to rinse off. When I was done, I dried myself off and then got her out of the tub. I pulled up the plug to drain it and then sat on the edge to dry her off as well. I towel dried her hair the best I could, and then carried her back to the bed where I laid her down. I turned off the bathroom lights, and the lamps in the bedroom before getting into bed with her. As soon as I laid down, she turned over and snuggled into my chest. I held her close and kissed her forehead. I looked down to see my mark on her, and Blade was howling in pure joy that we finally marked our mate again. I inhaled her new scent, which was now minty and herbally. I loved it as much as I loved her prior scent. I loved everything about Megan. Sarin or Megan, it really didn't matter anymore. They were officially one and the same, and they both belonged to me. I would belong to both of them when Megan marked me back. Chapter 75. Megan's POV. When I woke up the next morning, Jasper wasn't in bed. I was even more surprised to see that Sam wasn't in his bassinet. I sat up trying to figure out what happened to my son. Based on the time, I knew that Jasper was at training, but that didn't explain where my pup went. I was about to freak out when the bathroom door opened, and Grace came out with Sam in her arms. "Oh my goddess, I thought something happened to him," I said to her. "Oh, I'm sorry, sweetheart." He started to cry when Jasper was getting ready for morning training, and he asked me to come to take care of him so you could sleep. I thought I heard him cry, but it stopped right away, so I just figured he was fussing in his sleep. "Sarin, or should I say, Megan, you don't have to worry about a thing, I got him," she said and rocked him in her arms. "Why were you coming out of the bathroom?" The prince here had made a mess of himself, so I needed to clean him up. I'm going to feed him, so you can go back to sleep, or go take a shower. Is there still milk in the freezer? There are 3 bags, I already checked, she replied, never once even looking at me. I should pump then, I said, and got out of bed. I quickly put on a robe, went to the nursery to get the pump. Well, she said, and I turned around. What? Jasper marked you? Oh, yeah, I said nervously and grabbed the pump and sat down on the rocking chair. Sweetheart, does this mean you marked him back? No, I didn't have a chance to. Jasper was very possessive last night, almost as if I were going to disappear. You can't blame him for that. No, I can't, and I don't. Even though he and I can't communicate through our mind link yet, I can still hear in his thoughts. And when he marked me, he wants me as Saren and as much as he wants me as Megan. He wants both. Well, in a way, you are both, she said and placed the frozen baggie in the warmer. Jasper told Ronan and me that he doesn't care which form you stay in from now on, he said that he can love you either as Saren or as Megan. Yeah, he told me too. Do you know what you're going to do? Honestly, no. I mean, I can see the benefits of staying as Megan, but I also feel like if I do that, I'd be dishonoring my parents. Why would you think that? She asked, getting Sam's bottle together. My parents died protecting me, and I suffered through so much as Saren because I didn't want their deaths to be in vain. Oh sweetheart, she paused a minute and took a deep breath. Your mother was my best friend, and I honestly believe that she would want you to live your life how you want to. She died because she wanted you to live your life, because I think deep down, she knew that you were special. If you choose to live your life as Megan, I think she would be honored. In a way, you living as Megan also gives her a second chance at life as well. Hearing Grace put it that way really made me think. Saren, or Megan, or whoever you decide you want to be, you're loved. Jasper loves you. We love you, and the rest of the pack is warming up to you. It won't be long until they love you too. Thank you, Aunt Grace, she smiled at me. By the time I finished pumping, Sam finished the bottle, and Jasper came back from training. Grace ended up taking Sam for the day again, and I tried to stop her, but she smacked my hands and left our room with my son in tow. Jasper just laughed and went into the bathroom to shower. I decided since Grace took Sam, I would join him. I'm glad I did because our shower turned out to be a lot hotter than normal. After we finished our 1-hour-long shower, Jasper and I went down for breakfast, as a lot of the Omegas we passed by actually started to greet me with smiles and good mornings. Things were actually started to feel normal again for me. 1 week later. Leila's POV. It's been a week since the day I saw Jasper and that cunt Megan at the lake. Jasper hasn't even left the castle since that day. He works from home and stays in his office all day. I hadn't seen Megan all that much either, but then again, I avoided her like the disease she is. I hated that pack members were falling for her. I hated that Jasper was starting to fall for her. I tried to go see him once, but Megan stopped me. She even forbade me from coming up to their floor. Their floor? She was already acting like she was fully his. I could care less about what anyone said. I refused to acknowledge her as the Luna. That TLE rightfully belonged to me, and only me. I was so frustrated with everything, that I turned to the only other person who would know what I was feeling. I screamed and threw the glass. Will you stop breaking my cups? Tarine shouted at me. I'm frustrated. I get that, but don't take it out on my property, you crazy asterisk, she said, cleaning up the mess. I have a baby in this house. I don't need you turning it into a war zone. You're one to talk, you're the one that almost killed Keaton's mate at your front door." She stopped sweeping and glared at me. "I can't believe Andrea was stupid enough to kidnap her that way," she said, throwing away the glass into the garbage can. "Andrea has always been stupid. You're even more idiotic for entrusting her with such a simple task," I tell her and cross my arms, sitting on one of two chairs in her pathetic cottage. "I'm honestly surprised you haven't been banished yet. The Alpha won't banish me because of Killian. Yet. You, Leila. You're the one that should be banished. After all, you're the one that inged with the Alpha's memories and made the Luna leave. Why does everyone still call her the Luna? She's not the Luna anymore, God." "Yeah, you're right, that TLE belongs to the Alpha's mistress now, Megan," she said snobbishly and rubbed it in my face. "Tarine, if you keep running your trap, I'm going to make your son an orphan." "Don't threaten me, Leila. We both know I'm stronger than you." I scoffed at her and looked away. "Have you talked to Svetlana? Try to get her to help you again." "I went by her place, but it looks like someone got to her." "What do you mean?" "Her place was trashed, and there was blood everywhere. I think someone took her out." "I guess she finally pissed off the wrong customer," Tarine said, and picked up Killian from the floor and placed him in the playpen. "I still can't believe you got caught," I tell her, looking at Killian. "Then again, I'm not surprised. Killian looks nothing like Keaton. How was I supposed to know my son would come out looking like his biological father?" "It's biology 101, you dumb," I tell her and roll my eyes. I didn't know who was more stupid, her or that backstabbing cunt Sierra. Sierra has another thing coming for turning her back on all of us and saving her own. "Wait, didn't you say you that sold your soul to Svetlana?" she asked me. My eyes went wide, and I looked at her. "I did, and that hag told me if she died, I would die too." "That means either she doesn't have your soul, or she's not dead." "If she's not dead, then where is she?" "How should I know?" I couldn't believe it. If Svetlana was alive, then where was she hiding, and why did she fake her death? Wherever she is, she better stay hidden. I don't need her showing up and ruining everything else. "You never did tell me what you gave her in return for the potion that killed Keaton's mom." "Unlike you, I wasn't stupid enough to give a dark witch my soul." "Then what did you give her?" "It's not like you had any money," I watched as she looked down at Killian, and guilt written all over her face. "Oh my God, you didn't," she just looked at me and then avoided eye contact. "Holy! You sold your pup's soul to her." "Not his soul, him." "What?" "I paid Svetlana with Killian's life." "How did you plan on staying a family with Keaton and Killian if you promised him to a dark witch?" "The plan was to get Keaton to fall in love with me, I give birth to my first pup, and then she was supposed to kidnap him." "And you call me crazy?" "I would never bargain my own son just to get rid of someone that was in my way. I didn't have a choice. Lizzie found out my original plan to drug Keaton to make him see me as his mate. So, you went to Svetlana, sold the life of your firstborn child, killed Lizzie, got pregnant by someone who wasn't Keaton, and then got him to sleep you? Real smart." I panicked. At least I didn't team up with another pack to try and kidnap the Luna with fake rogues by kidnapping humans. Nor did I sell my own soul to with Alpha and make his mate reject him. What would have happened had he died from her rejection? Jasper is stronger than any other wolf. I knew he would survive it. Right, okay. At least I was able to get who I wanted to sleep with me. Jasper popped your cherry out of desperation and hasn't even given you a second glance. Even when he felt that Luna was his mate after rejection, he tried to look for her. He didn't even know her. Yet he felt the need to try and find her. And now, he has a chosen mate who apparently he's falling in love with. I love Jasper. I did what I had to get him to fall in love with me. You're stupid, Leila. You don't have a soul. That's not going to stop me. Oh, but maybe this will, she said and smirked. Rumor has it he marked her last week. What? You lose again, Leila. I didn't want to hear any more of her SHT. I grabbed my bag and got up to leave, but when I opened the door, I was met with 5 castle guards, including Angelo and Owen. What? They pushed me back and they all piled into Terrine's cottage. What? Terrine shouted as the guards surrounded us. Darius, take Terrine's pup to the orphanage, Angelo commanded. Sir. Darius went to the playpen and picked up Killian, but not before giving me a dirty look. What are you doing? Put him down. What are you doing? Terrine screamed. Now she cares about her son. Darius shoved her away, making her land on the ground, and took Killian without even a second thought, with Killian screaming and crying in his arms. Killian! Terrine screamed and tried to run after him, but the guards stopped her. Let me go. Give me back my pup. Angelo! What is going on? I shouted. He didn't say anything and just glared at me. I tried to look for another way out, but Terrine's cottage was so small, it didn't even have a back door. What, Angelo? Why did you take my son? Angelo and the others didn't say anything. They just stood there glaring at Terrine and me. I had never seen the guards so mad before. Answer the question. I screamed. We don't answer to you, he said while gritting his teeth. Restrain them. Sir, 2 of the guards grabbed me and put silver cuffs on me. Ah! I screamed as the silver was already starting to burn my skin. What? Ah! I turned to see that they also put silver cuffs on Terrine. Angelo! What are you doing? I shouted. Angelo looked like he was going to say something, but I watched his eyes cloud over for a second. He and Owen immediately split like the Red Sea, and I felt my heart drop to the pit of my stomach. What the? Terrine muttered behind me with fear laced in her voice. All 3 ranked members were standing in the doorway of her cottage with Jasper in front. All of their eyes were black, and their canines were all out. Without saying a word, all 3 came in and looked at us with such hatred and anger. If looks could kill, Terrine and I would be 6 feet under. I watched as Jason handed Jasper a tablet. Jasper hit the play button, and immediately my heart dropped even further. Jasper showed us footage of the conversation Terrine and I just had. The conversation that showed us admitting to all of the crimes we committed. When I saw the angle of the footage, I looked around and saw the ventilation in the top corner above the kitchen. Tears flooded my eyes as Jasper and the others stared at us with nothing but unadulterated hate. WW Jasper, I can explain, I stutter in pure fear. Terrine is crying behind me as well. Jasper doesn't say anything and just turns away. That was the biggest slap to the face. Jasper! I screamed and cried, but he didn't even stop. Take them to the dungeons. Owen commanded the guards. Sir! Terrine and I were dragged out of her house. We kicked, screamed, and cried. Jasper! Please! Jasper, please don't do this! I got nothing from him. I watched as he shifted into his wolf with the others and they took off back towards the castle. This couldn't be happening. Chapter 76. Jasper's POV. 1 month ago. What do you mean you've seen Leila going in and out of Terrine's place? I asked Kendrick. I haven't seen her, but the guards who watch her have. Even though Terrine's on house arrest, I never said she couldn't have visitors. Why would Leila be going to see Terrine? They don't even like each other. They might not like each other, but you already know that they have one thing in common, well, 2 things if you count them be utterly psychotic. Svetlana. Yet. What if Leila has been going over there to talk to someone about her issues, and vice versa? You think one knows what the other did? I asked, lifting a brow at him. I think they would be stupid enough to confide in each if they didn't. Terrine is an outcast, and her friends are gone. Leila is a selfish no one likes anyway, and who shared the same friends. I rested my chin on top of my hands and thought about what he said. Would they be dumb enough to voice their crimes out loud to each other? I twitched my nose deep in thought. Jasper, I think we should install a hidden camera in Terrine's house and have the feed linked directly to the encrypted cloud. We can live stream it in here, and to your office at work. That way, if they do say anything incriminating, we can be on them like a cat on a mouse. We will need someone to monitor the feed, I tell him. We can have Jason do it. I nodded my head and quickly mind-linked Jason. He came into my office and we explained to him what the plan was. He had no problem whatsoever monitoring the feed. We would only need to do it when Leila went over to Terrine's house, which wasn't very often, but often enough. Present day. I was sitting in my office with Kendrick going over some pack politics. Now that Saren, or should I say Megan, has been marked, I was going to have to hold another Luna ceremony for her. Kendrick and I were trying to figure out the logistics on our own since my dad was out running his pie business and my mom was goddess only knows where having kidnapped our kids. Us guys never complained, my sister and Megan did. We tell them to enjoy the free child care, but they aren't having it. Megan has been wanting to put off the Luna ceremony because she technically doesn't need nor does she want another one, but in order for our plan to work, she's going to have to go through it all again. As Kendrick and I were going over everything and trying to come out with a plan to have another Luna ceremony without garnishing too much attention from outside packs, Jason ran into my office with a frenzy. Jasper. You have to listen to this, he said, shoving his tablet in my face. I saw that it was Leila inside of Terrine's house. Wait. Didn't you say you that sold your soul to Svetlana? Terrine asked Leila. I did, and that hag told me if she died, I would die too. That means either she doesn't have your soul, or she's not dead. If she's not dead, then where is she? How the FK should I know? Wherever she is, she better stay hidden. I don't need her showing up and ruining everything else, Terrine said, crossing her arms. You never did tell me what you gave her in return for the potion that K.L.L.E.D. Keaton's mom, Leila said to her. That one statement alone got both mine and Kendrick's undivided attention. Unlike you, I wasn't stupid enough to give a dark witch my soul, Terrine answered. That alone was her admission of guilt. Kendrick knew it and he slapped my back and hard. I let it slide because I knew he did out of excitement. Then what did you give her? It's not like you had any money. There was a slight pause. Oh my God, you didn't. Holy. You sold your pup's soul to her. Say what? The guys and I shouted. Not his soul, him. What? Leila shouted at Terrine. I paid Svetlana with Killian's life. The guys and I just looked at each other. This sold her own son's life to pay for the potion that killed Kendrick's mom. How did you plan on staying a family with Keaton and Killian if you promised him to a dark witch? The plan was to get Keaton to fall in love with me, I give birth to my first pup, and then she was supposed to kidnap him. And you call me crazy? I would never bargain my own son just to get rid of someone that was in my way. I didn't have a choice. Lizzie found out my original plan to drug Keaton to make him see me as his mate. So, you went to Svetlana, sold the life of your firstborn child, K.L.L.E.D. Lizzie, got pregnant by someone who wasn't Keaton, and then got him to sleep you? Real smart. I panicked. At least I didn't team up with another pack to try and kidnap the Luna with fake rogues by kidnapping humans. Nor did I sell my own soul to with Alpha and make his mate reject him. What would have happened had he died from her rejection? Jasper is stronger than any other wolf. I knew he would survive it. Leila shouted. That was her admission of guilt. Get the guards. I growled and we all ran out of my office. Kendrick mind-linked them as we were running towards Terrine's cottage. Thankfully, Terrine's cottage was already under guard because of her house arrest. Angelo, Owen, and Darius were already ahead of us running towards Terrine's cottage. Everyone was using their wolf speed. I instructed Angelo to get rid of Terrine's pup first and take him to the orphanage. Even though his mom was a murderess, he didn't deserve to be hurt in any way. When we could finally saw the cottage ahead, I saw Darius already leaving with Killian in his arms. I could hear Leila and Terrine screaming their heads off in anger. Then I heard their screams of pain, and I knew that they had been restrained with silver cuffs. I mind-linked Angelo to let him clear a path for me and others. I watched as he and Owen split and stood at attention when we got to the door. When Leila and Terrine saw us, both of their faces turned white, like they had just seen a ghost. I didn't have to look at Kendrick or Jason to know that their eyes were just as black as mine, and I could hear their low growls as their wolves started to surface. Blade was restless, and he was ready to tear Leila's head off, but I wasn't going to give her the satisfaction of fast and painless death. As we stood in Terrine's living room staring down at them, Jason handed me the tablet and I played it back for them. Both of their eyes filled with tears, and I could literally smell the fear that radiated off of them. They knew they were caught admitting to their crimes, and there was no way they were going to be able to get out of this. Jasper, I can explain, Leila stuttered in pure fear. Terrine was crying behind her. I stare at her with unconditional disgust and hate. I don't even say anything and just turned my heel to walk away. Jasper, she screamed and cried, but I didn't even stop to regard her. She was officially an enemy of this pack, an enemy of mine, and an enemy of my family's. Take them to the dungeons. I heard Owen command the guards. Sir. Jasper. Please. Jasper, please don't do this. Leila screams at the top of her lungs. Her screaming makes my skin crawl. The guys and I shift into our wolves and head straight for the castle. I need to hold Megan. We finally had what we needed to get rid of Leila once and for all. And I was pretty certain that Kendrick was going to tell Keaton and his dad about Terrine's admission as well. I had to give it to Kendrick. He was smart to assume that those two broads were stupid enough to admit their crimes out loud to each other. Based on what they said, they knew of each other's crimes beforehand and helped each other keep it quiet. That makes them an accessory to each other's crimes, so we can just add that on to their charges. I had Jason forward the video to the Elders' Council and to let them know that I would not be letting either one of them off easy. They were going to be T0 Richard, and I was looking forward to it, as I know Kendrick was looking forward to torturing Terrine for what she did to his mom. When we got back to the castle, we each went our separate ways, and I found Megan with Melody in our room with the pups. I guess my mom finally decided to give them back. Ah! I don't want to see you ached. Melody shouted at me. I looked down and forgot I had ran back in wolf form. I quickly grabbed a pair of sweats from the bed and put them on. Jasper? Is everything okay? Megan asked. No, it's not, I tell her. Jasper, what's going on? Melody asked. I need you to sit down, and listen to what I'm about to tell you. I also suggest putting the pups down, I tell them. They do as I say and sit back. Down. Girls, we got what we needed, they both CK their heads at me. Leila and Tarine, we have them on video admitting to their crimes. What? They both exclaim. I don't understand, how? Megan asked. 2 months ago, the guards that watched Tarine for her house arrest noted that Leila had been visiting her every so often. They told Kendrick since he's the one in charge of her house arrest. He came up with the idea to bug Tarine's house because we know that they both dealt with Svetlana. It's possible that since their friends are no longer around, they would potentially confide in each other about their crimes. Wait, hold up a second, Melody said, waving her hands. You mean to tell me, those two bitches knew what the other did, and kept it a secret between the two of them? It seems that way. I don't get it. How did they admit their crimes? Megan asked. I mean, I doubt that they would just flat out say it. You're right, Tink. They didn't flat out say it, but they were judging each other on their motives and tactics, and how they paid Svetlana. Acknowledging each other's judgments is as close to an admission of guilt as it is to straight spelling it out, I tell her. Wait, does this mean Saren can go back to being Saren? Melody asked. No, she needs to stay Megan until we deal with the vampire, but, first things first, how we're going to punish Leila and Tarine. Oh. Please tell me I get to have a turn. Melody said a little eagerly. No, I don't want you getting your hands dirty. Oh, come on. Just one hit. Please, on each of them. Just one nice punch to their ugly faces is all I'm asking for, she begged. I looked at her and saw that she really wanted to hit them. Fine, one hit each, and then you leave the dungeon. Pinky swear. I looked over at Megan, who was a little taken aback. Tink, I know this is a little much for you, but I need you to understand what they did. You don't have to explain, Jasper, I understand. Tarine K, LLED, a ranked pack member, the former beta female. She hurt Keaton and then tried to LL another beta female, Irene. Leila used dark magic to ruin our bond and almost LLED you in the accident. Her actions forced us to drift apart, and we almost LLED each other because of it. And because of her, the vampire now knows of my existence. Leila and Tarine deserve everything they're going to endure. If we're all on the same page, I'm going to take Leanne to Mom. I need to get into my fighting clothes. Hey! I said one hit each. I know, and I'm going to keep my word, but it doesn't mean I won't draw some blood with each hit. One killed my mother-in-law, and the other made my sister-in-law run away. I'm drawing blood, she said while leaving our room with Leanne in her arms. Has she always been like that? Megan asked. Yeah, when it comes to family, she can be pretty ruthless, but it's a good thing. She replied, sounding unsure. This is a lot to take in, you know. This is unfortunately the hard part of my job as alpha of one of the largest packs. I know not everyone likes me or you or the ranked members. But we have a hierarchy for a FG reason. We are to be respected, at all times. Leila and Tarine have pushed their luck more than enough times, and I still let them get away with it. But not this time. Not after knowing what I know and hearing them with their own mouths admit their crimes. Tareen K. LLED Lizzie because she was going to use dark magic to make Keaton believe she was his mate. That's against the law. Not just our laws, but standard werewolf laws as well. Leila used dark magic to F*K with me, her alpha, and the effect of that caused you, the Luna, to leave her pack and reject her mate. Every wolf in the world knows that rejecting your mate after being marked can potentially kill them. Leila risked my life for her own greed. The elders can see that as the potential murder of an alpha. Jasper, do you know what's really crazy? What's that? The fact that it still hasn't been a year since I first came here, and all this drama has happened. I mean, my birthday is in a week, but we can't even celebrate it because it's not Megan's birthday. I know, baby, and I'm sorry about that. Even though we can't celebrate it openly, we can always do something behind closed doors. Your real birthday won't go uncelebrated. I promise, she nodded her head. I need to change and go down to the dungeon. I won't lie, this may take a while, so don't wait up for me. Okay, I gave her a KSS and stood up. Jasper. Yes, Tink. Before you KLL her, I want to speak with Leila. Why? It's just something I have to do. Okay, I went to the closet to change into some basketball shorts. As I was leaving my room, I mind-linked Kendrick. Where are you? Keaton, our dad, and I are waiting for you at the dungeon entrance. Let's just say my dad is a little too eager to get down there. We can't have him killing her right away. She needs to pay for her crimes. Oh, believe me, brother, he knows. And it's almost scary how calm he is at the same time. I can't say the same for Keaton though. Did you tell him what Tareen had done with Killian? I did, and he's not happy. Even though he's not the father, at one point he thought he was. And if he had been, then he would have lost his own son because of her, and that's not sitting well with him. Where you are? I just got finished talking to Megan and my sister. Dot is on her way down. She wants one hit per. You know she's not going to stop at one. She will because we pinky swore. Besides, she's going to make she draws blood on each hit. Yeesh, I never want to be the receiving end of my angel's anger. Same. Where's Jason? He and Milan are already down there, they're warming them up for us. Okay, I'm on way. See you in a few. Tonight was going to be a long night. Join our Facebook and WhatsApp group for more updates, link is given in description, rest audiobook will be continued in next episode.